If you work in China, you need to be ready because in China things go fast and things can just change drastically, just like this. Hey guys, this is Tiako Kami, and in this video I would like to share with you some things you need to know if you plan to come to China or you are in China already but you might not know some of these things I'm about to say. With that being said, let's get started. Chinese people don't say ni hao among friends or relatives because for them it's too formal. So usually when you make Chinese friends, you will notice that they have different ways of greeting you, such as for instance they can ask you ni chifalama. Ni chifalama means like have you eaten yet? If you're new here, you might think that they want to invite you to eat something, but sometimes yes, they really want to invite you to eat something, but sometimes depending on the situation, they might just want to initiate the conversation. And also they usually don't say good morning, good afternoon, or good evening among friends or relatives as well. Usually when they see you, no matter what time is it, they might ask you straight questions, like for instance Ngahachu. Ngahachu actually is a like the northeast dialect in China because I'm in the north part of China, so usually this is how they speak, but it literally means ni tu gan shema. Like if you want to translate in English, it means something like you go to do what. So they basically want to know what are you going to do, where are you going to, and what are you going to do there. And so they will ask you this question straight. And then according to where you're going, you can tell them, and then boom, the conversation will start. Sometimes if you meet your neighbor in the elevator or outside, according to the situation, for example, if it's in the morning, they might say something like 上班去啦 if you work, or 上学去啦 if you study. And if it's like in the evening or if it's in the afternoon and you're coming back, they might say 下班啦 if you work, or 放学啦 if you study. Things like that. They barely say like good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So you need to know these things because in my country, usually before initiating any conversation, we will usually greet the person first before we can ask some questions. But here in China, they don't have time for that. It's too polite for them to do that, especially if they know you. And also there are some strangers that you will encounter outside, and maybe they would like to know more about you and they want to make a conversation with you. So in this case, the most popular question they ask you to initiate the conversation with you is to ask you, where are you from? This is actually like their good morning to you, you know. And usually once you tell them your country, boom, you can start the conversation. Another thing you also need to know is that Chinese people, they don't like to take things immediately. It could be a gift, or maybe you take the bus and maybe you see that there's an old man or an old lady. They come on the bus and you need to stand up and ask them to sit down. And usually when you ask them to sit down, they will say bouillon, bouillon, bouillon. And then you have to force them by saying something like 没事没事你坐吧你坐你坐你坐你坐吧. If you don't force them, they will just stand up like that, but you have to force them. This is something I didn't know at the beginning because I didn't know. I had to learn by myself and nobody told me, so I had to learn by myself. And also when you buy a gift to a Chinese friend, and when you give the gift to that Chinese friend, he or she will also say something like bouillon, bouillon, and then you have to force them to take it because anyway you already spend money for that, right? So you have to force them. 没事没事你拿着吧我已经给你买好了你拿着吧 It's so interesting, right? They will talk about your appearance. If you lose weight, they will tell you that you lost weight. If you gain weight, they will tell you that you gain weight. Anything that they see with their eyes, they will just say it out loud. It's just the culture. And by them saying that, they don't mean anything bad. It's just like it's just like they're used to it. So you need to be prepared as well. If you are someone who easily gains weight, you need to control your diet, because here in China it is super easy to gain weight. And so if you are scared maybe that they will say something about your appearance, then you can just try to watch your diet and everything will be okay. But anyway, like I said, when they say that, it doesn't mean anything bad. They don't mean anything bad. They just like to say what they see. So there's nothing bad about it. If you work in China, you need to be ready, because in China things go fast and things can just change drastically, just like this. For example, you know that you will have your days off this weekend and you already bought your ticket maybe to go to travel to another city and everything, but at the last moment they tell you that you need to work tomorrow and there's nothing you can do. You will have to work. If you don't work, they will cut your salary. So you need to be ready for this kind of situation in case it happens to you. Lastly, if you work in China, and I think this also applies to students, what I want to say is that in China, usually when they have public holidays, they usually tend to work backwards. I don't know if it makes sense. Like for example, if you have Monday and Tuesday like public holidays, and you will have to work on Saturday and Sunday to make up those 2 days for Monday and Tuesday that you didn't work. And for students, they will need to go to school on Saturday and Sunday. They will have Monday class, and for Saturday they will for Sunday they will have Tuesday class. And I remember it happened last year for the Chinese Chinese, what do they call it? Oh my god, I don't know in English, but I know in Chinese. What the fuck? Like Guoqinjie. Guoqinjie, how to say Guoqinjie in English? What the fuck? Guoqinjie. Like the what? I was talking about the National Day in China. So last year we had to go to school. We had to do some extra classes online, because that time there was still COVID here in China. So we had to do some extra classes online to make up those public holidays. So you also need to be prepared for this. And these are some of the things I wanted to share with you. And if you have some other things that you can also share, you can let me know in the comment sections. And until then, see you next time. Bye.